Don't ever let people know that you're desperate.
I'm definitely a hard worker like my dad. He's always out, always working.
Would you say that religion played a part in your success?
Ooh.
Success After Dark, Season 2.
Welcome to Success After Dark podcast.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what Success After Dark.
Okay.
And we got a special guest today.
We waited till the sunset to start. Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah, we had to,
That's
bro.
why you guys we've been talking for about 12 hours.
So we had an hour chit chat before the
we
podcast.
already finished the episode. Now we're starting.
We got CEO Sami in the house. What's
going
my
on?
brother. Thank you for
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for blessing us today. I mean, we have a lot to talk about. I mean, you are a Lebanese guy.
Yes.
Were you born in Canada?
No, I was born in the Middle East. Yeah.
Born in the Middle East,
Yeah.
came here.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was about 4 years old.
Okay, young.
Very young.
Yeah, very young.
So
And then,
I was born in 84.
okay,
So that was around the time the Civil War was going on.
in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And then you came to Canada.
Yes.
How was it? How was it being raised? Were you raised around like Canadians a lot, or was it like a lot of? Because you were raised in Ottawa, right?
Oh, well, I didn't mention we moved to Montreal originally.
Montreal.
So a lot of Lebanese people tend to do that
Oh my
because
God, yeah, the
French.
French.
Is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
secondary language. So the only person that can communicate was my mom at the time because she was like
Oh, she
fluent
spoke French. Okay,
in French.
Nice.
But unfortunately, it wasn't, and it's understandable, but it wasn't too much of a pleasant experience because
Because the language barrier. No?
the language barrier and like the ethnic, you know,
Of course,
it was a
yeah.
drastic change. That's
Yeah.
like early 90s, right? So
Yeah.
now we're like 30 years
Oh, yeah,
down.
30 years.
So imagine 30 years ago, Middle Easterns coming into a like
I can
Quebec.
imagine. Because Quebec hate Ontarians right now, so like 30 years ago. Man, you go to Quebec. And like I went to McDonald's. I'm like, can I get the Big Mac? And she speaks back to French to me. I'm like, I don't understand French.
Yeah.
And she still
Yeah.
speaks French to me.
Yeah.
So I had a guy with me. I'm like, bro, talk to her before I flip on this place, bro. I can't deal with these people now.
It's so,
So I can imagine 30 years ago, man.
You should start speaking Arabic to her.
I know, right? So you okay? So after Montreal, that's when you moved to Ottawa.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we were like, you know, we're living like most immigrants. The first few years is
Yeah.
like
Getting
figuring
things
below
out.
average, you
Yeah.
know, much below average. So
Okay.
kind of like, you know, about poverty near around
Okay.
there. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was definitely an experience because at the same time, you know, you come from a country where there's like so much civil unrest. Like literally, you look across the street and someone has like you're a child. You're
Yeah,
seeing,
yeah.
that if you go outside, you might get killed. You know. And then at the same time, another minority group came to the same neighborhood, like same time. It was the Somalians.
Somalians, yeah.
And at the time,
This is in the 90s.
this is in the
90s,
90s.
okay.
So you can imagine around that time, they come from tribal sort of.
Of course, yeah.
Still till now, there's like instability. No, originally everybody comes together. First, there's a lot of hostility, right?
Yeah,
so
of
we're
course.
coming from a war-torn country. They're coming from some level of tribal and civil unrest, and now we're facing each other, and we're completely like contrast from each other. So,
of course.
if you know anybody that grew up in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, it was like a movie. You can't even explain what was going on between the two because it was hard to adapt. You know what I mean? To normality. So,
Of course.
yeah, man. But overall, like obviously, we're so grateful to know that we had a roof over our head.
Yeah,
and,
of
like,
course, absolutely.
Security, safety overall.
I feel like you've always been a hustler, like since you were a kid. Do you think that?
Yeah, man. I was always like trying to find a way to, like.
Because I tell you something, I wasn't. Like I
You
don't
weren't?
think when I was a kid, like I didn't like. Maybe I was hustling in sports. I've done all the sports, but I was never like, let me start a business. Like, you know how like they share these stories on like social media and they're like, well, I sold thing. Oh, in grade 12,
You were selling something in school.
in grade 12, I sold cheat sheets. You know, in Arabic, barashim, you know, for
Yeah.
test. because my dad had a printer and he had like this big printer, expensive, right?
Yeah.
So I used to like take like all the tips that from like the book and then
from
print
one
it and-
smart person, and then you sold it to the.
pretty much, yeah. From I took ملخص, like a small
nice.
thing, and then
Yeah.
I used to print it, and then I took it a step ahead because I was a smart guy. You know these see-through papers?
Yeah.
You know a see-through paper?
Yeah.
Like you can see through it.
Yeah.
I used to type print on it. So you'd put the cheat sheet on the table, and you can only see it. The prof can be right here, and he wouldn't see it.
Oh,
Brother, I was
bro, you were ahead of
I
you were
guess.
AI. Man,
I
sort of
know.
AI. What year was this?
man. This is only grade 12 though. Like that was the only thing I guess that. But
That was
like
your
I feel
that
like
was your
some
spark
people.
of your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah,
Because he got his.
I was
first
helping
job-
people.
He got his first job when he was 19.
yeah. Here in
first
Canada.
job
in Canada. I've never worked back
Yeah,
home.
he didn't
I've never
work
had a
when-
job.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Saudi, bro.
Yeah, no,
Okay, we
it's
couldn't
true.
technically we couldn't have jobs.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
ID it says you can't have a job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so that's why am I saying like were you like even at a younger age, like when you were 6, 7, like trying to sell something or trying to work?
Yeah,
or,
we're just always like it's unfortunate. Like, you know,
you
like
think
when-
it's unfortunate?
it's fortunate and unfortunate. Like if you'd have to share, like there's things that are frowned upon when you're young and you're a kid.
Yeah.
Generally, most boys have stolen things from
Of
the
course,
convenience store.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that for some reason in our community, nobody wants to admit that they've ever stolen everything.
oh my god. I was notorious.
They're
with it.
currently stealing some sort of data from someone right now. Like, what are you talking
Sure.
about? You know. But with that being said, yeah, no, you know what? Growing up, and I'd never want that for my own children. You know.
Okay.
But growing up in an underprivileged neighborhood, you know, somewhat poverty or government housing,
Yeah.
was one of the greatest things that I've ever experienced. You know, and it's something that you can't learn in school. Like a lot of the things, trying to find ways to survive, trying to keep up with the other kids whose parents were doing really well. Both parents were working. You know, when you came to Canada, before you got your citizenship, you technically can't work.
Technically, yeah. I worked
Technically,
cash. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, but technically, yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
technically,
I agree,
like,
yeah.
so our parents couldn't really work. They either had to be like on welfare or
like
whatever,
hustle or yeah.
or you know, like cash
Yeah,
if there was
cash
cash
shops, yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
So we were always trying to find ways. I was always trying to
Opportunities.
find ways, and at the time, I found a way. I'm not gonna get into details because I don't even trust the, you know, but I the DVD phase. Those who know me in the city, you know,
Yeah.
I was like,
So-
bro,
so-
I made,
so- Bind the
what you were
DVDs.
doing with cheat sheets?
Because of the DVDs.
I was, bro,
Okay.
it was booming. And I was like, because DVDs were like $60 at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was-
Damn.
Yeah, 60.
I probably bought a
Is that
couple.
from Blockbusters or something? Is that the
What?
same thing we're talking about?
Blockbuster had
DVDs?
DVDs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
DVDs, like,
Maybe.
like discs, like CDs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Movies, you'd watch movies.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it now. I
Music,
got it.
yeah.
Now. We've
So
had this back
maybe
home
the
too.
originals, maybe copies,
We've-
you know, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like they're going for $50, and you're just like, yo, it's $10, and if you're selling like,
Yeah.
even today, if you're selling like 50 a day,
Yeah.
for
You're making
$10,
some nice money.
so you're like in grade 10,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you start coming with the nice car, and they're
Yeah,
like, the teachers are like, what is going on? This is like ahead of your time. Like
Yeah.
now the teachers are really getting like their own time. But at the time, it's like, yeah, you had to figure it out to keep up with everyone else, you know.
So did you get a job? So you were selling. That was basically your first hustle. Would you say? Was the DVD game?
Probably, you know, I haven't really looked, like, I didn't really reflect on like how I was
Yeah.
trying to go about
Yeah.
surviving. But the DVD was a nice come up for sure, like for me at that time, you know, because
Yeah.
you're like making. If you make right now $300 a day,
You're
good.
you're living
So
okay.
imagine back in like, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, making a couple hundred. a
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was,
for
like,
sure.
good, you know,
Yeah.
and then, but it was all legal. But you know,
100%.
with that business,
Halal.
but-
100% halal.
so at the time, yeah, exactly. So, but here's the thing: is like I find that the more resistance we have, like, the more resistance we come across, the human spirit is the hardest thing to kill, man. Like it
I
is
agree.
very strong. Like whenever, that's why I get so touched when I hear people unfortunately made the decision of letting go, like
Yeah.
committing,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, how much did this person go through to
Yeah.
because the human spirit, like look at Nelson Mandela, bro. He was in
Yeah.
jail for like 30 years and came out and ran. Like how many Arab politicians go in jail for 20 years? They come out, they're like already friggin' prime minister and president, and it's not just about them. It's generally like, you know, the more resistance you have, it's just we're made to survive. We're incredible beings.
I
You
love
know what
that.
mean?
Yeah.
I love that. So, your brother's Massari,
Yeah,
which you actually look like. Do you think so?
a little bit.
A little bit.
There's
sounds
like
like,
some-
sounds like him. I mean,
And you
yeah.
do sound a little bit.
No, it's real love.
So I mean, when was that song? Real Love. What? Because I was in grade.
You know when it was? Remember your first love, and that's when you used to listen to Real Love.
Brother.
Be honest.
2000.
Oh no, he's telling.
Rakan's saying he's never
He's
fallen in
never
love. That's
fallen in
what-
love.
that's what he's thinking.
wait,
He's
wait,
like,
wait. I'm trying to.
Sorry, you haven't fallen in love yet.
Yeah. Love is haram, brother.
Yeah.
Until we're married, then I can love my wife. But anyway, we were young, man, when that came out. So you were technically young at that point.
I was
when that
really
song-
young.
This is you were
Real
in
Love.
your 20s.
Real love.
It had to be 10,
like
10 plus.
18,
Yeah.
18. Maybe I was around 18 years
So
old.
that's a hit
almost
for you,
20
brother.
years ago. Yeah.
That's like a big,
Man,
big come. So
bro.
how does? Okay, first of all, your family.
Yeah.
How do they react?
yeah,
to,
we got some questions. Yeah, that's a crazy.
No,
story.
before that,
Yeah.
Massari is his name.
So his name is Sari. Sari.
Sari.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
Massari-
Sari.
so- Is it Massari as in Massari came in?
Yeah. So
Okay,
it just,
so
it just
I was-
fit well together.
my analysis was
Masari,
right.
Masari. You know
Massari
what I
is
mean?
money
Sorry.
Masari
in
means
Lebanese
Yeah.
dialect.
money. Yeah.
And
You said that's
Palestinian.
He was your favorite artist. At one
I love
point, no?
I love Massari,
Yeah.
man.
Bro, it's, you know.
You know, he just found out that
I actually just found out
about
that
the
he's-
brotherhood today.
that it was your brother.
When I
like
told
today,
you?
yeah.
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 Like I thought you, because I've seen some type of video, but I thought he was like maybe related or something.
You know what it
I don't
is?
know his
I was
brother.
telling you, like most people don't know.
Yeah,
It's crazy, and it's not like I don't want people to know.
yeah, of course.
Obviously, it's something to be
Yeah,
proud
yeah.
of. But I feel like, you know, just you go through a lot in life, and you just want to have your foot forward. People kind of get a clear understanding of who you are. And
I agree.
I feel like it's sort of cheating, being like, "I'm Massari's brother,
Yeah.
like me." It's like if I really
Interesting,
need
yeah,
someone to
yeah.
like me, I'll just be like, "Damn, all right. By the way, I'm Massari's brother. No way. Come to my house. Come for dinner." I'm like, "Can we close that deal now?" No, just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, actually, some people for years they don't know, and I never mention it. And then when they do find out, they're like, "How could you lie to me?" I'm like,
I just never mentioned
I
it.
just never mentioned it.
So how does your parents react it? Like, were they like with him in the beginning? Of, yeah, that's okay. Like, or were they like music? Like,
Yeah, we were so Lebanese generally. I don't want to paint it in a brush, but we do seem to be more flexible when it comes to like entertainment.
not
Like,
always Lebanese people. You mean?
Lebanese people,
Debatable. It depends where they come from Lebanon.
north, south.
Which
Where-
part of Lebanon?
Where are you from, Lebanon? As soon as they ask me that, I'm like, oh, he's trying to see if I'm his homie or not. I'm always like Beirut. That's like
Yeah, Beirut, you
12
can't figure it
religions.
out. There's too many
many,
religions.
yeah.
There's
But
like
when you
12
specify
religions.
I'm from this part, we
How many
know.
governments do you say there were?
I don't remember. What was it? I think
There's-
some big number.
Yeah,
Some-
there's just
Seven, I think
the
seven.
hierarchy, the government structure is very odd because it's based on your religion.
religion.
and
Yeah.
sect.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
So the only the prime minister can be like
it's
either
Christian.
Christian Maronite. Maybe.
Maronite, yeah, that's the
Right?
word. That's
And
the,
then-
I was trying to tell you this, I just didn't know the second one. It was
Yeah.
the specific type of Christian.
And then the vice president can be like a Muslim.
A Muslim, but either Sunni or Shia.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And then other guy has to be Shia because they have to like diversification and bro, it's
so it's obvious.
and then
why.
everybody knows somebody. I'll tell you a story later. Off camera, I got a call in Lebanon to shut down my event. Then I called somebody to shut down the shutdown call.
yeah, that's Lebanon, man.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, it's like look, you got to hear this. So
Yeah.
you know, I told you, you know, sometimes people want to meet and talk, and
Of
I
course.
never really open up about this, and I'm more than glad to because I know your audience. I didn't really think much about it, but I know you.
yeah.
And I know that you inspire I don't know your audience, but I know you inspire. So why not share some inspiration? Like, why hold it on?
For
Hold on
sure.
to
Appreciate that, man.
So when it was first, for me, the wake up call
Yeah.
was I was visiting Lebanon when I think I was 16. I went with a couple friends.
Okay.
So one that lived all the way in North Lebanon, the other one lived all the way South Lebanon, and I was in the middle. Obviously, they're different.
Different everything.
Right? When I say I'm going up there, they're like, you're gonna die, and then the same thing, right? But
just to give context, South is more Middle Eastern, you would say, and the North is more European.
no, it's
or
like
what?
it's a sect of religion.
Just sect of religion. Different religions.
Is North more Christian?
No, North is what's North in Arabic?
So the North is
North is Shmal, right? What's North in Arabic?
I'm not.
I don't even know. North is Shmal. I think is Shmal. Shmal is who is it?
It's like so. I would assume I don't want to generalize, but a lot of the North where I was going, Trablus was Sunni Muslim.
Oh yeah, Sunni Muslims. Yeah.
And then the South was Shia Muslims. And they're on the border with Israel, so they're constantly having their
Fights
thing.
and stuff,
And then
yeah.
up there has more affiliations with Syria and stuff. So it's a bit. But here's the point. So I was in the middle, in Beirut.
Beirut.
And we were in the mountains at my. Everyone has some sort of cottage out there.
Everybody.
Right? So I was in the mountains and I was fixing a bike.
Okay.
So keep in mind, there was no Facebook back then. There was no Instagram back then. There was I think there might have been MySpace.
Yeah.
But I'm not fully sure, but there might have been. I'm sitting, I swear to God, in the mountains, like trees and like dirt. There's no pavement. I'm fixing my little cousin's bike. I swear to God, some kid comes up to me and is like, "Are you Massari's brother?" In the mountains, 60, bro. We didn't have mobile phones. We were still using pagers, bro. There was no cell phones, really. I don't think there was, like, except for
the big ones.
And
The
you couldn't
brick
afford
phones.
Those are 2Gs back then, which is like 10 grand right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna pay 10 grand for a phone. That's
Wow.
why I run to the local area in Lebanon where everyone calls their family back home. It's like Central, whatever they call it. You know, and it's like over the internet that, you know, right? I'm like, bro, you're famous, bro. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, everyone knows who you are out here. That's huge, man.
That's big.
How?
Yeah.
Okay, just keep this in mind. CDs weren't really out back then.
Yeah.
So it was tapes.
Ah.
How were they? There was no Napster.
So what is this?
Brother,
Early
somebody
2000s?
sent
It was word of
somebody.
mouth, bro.
Late 90s, 2000s?
It gives me
2000s,
goosebumps, man.
2000s, yeah?
Wow.
It was early
2001,
2000.
2002,
Yeah, I think so. It was like literally when I was 16/17, I was out there.
Yeah.
So that's more than I'm an OG. So over 20 years. Over 20 years.
Yeah.
So this is after your brother had dropped his first album?
I think it was around the
an album?
time. Yeah. So at the time, I'd have to try to remember, but he had like a song called Spitfire. I don't know if you know.
No.
So it was like, it was just like a things they'd have, him and Belly. And then it might have been around then. It might have been around the Real Love time. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know? And so then a couple years later, we were back, but we were like at the big stations, you know, like, and LBC, the shows that they had back then.
I'm pretty sure that's maybe where he got famous. Maybe they played a video of him.
Yeah.
Because typically what you notice in Lebanese news, I would say, they're proud of Arab people. Like, they were so happy that I came, bro. Like, Rotan FM is like the biggest.
Wow.
Like the biggest
They're
radio
huge, bro.
show ever. Like,
Rotana.
like I used to listen to this when I was a kid. Rotana FM. And like,
Rotana's like Universal Records here. Like,
so
big-
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I go there and like they're greeting me and saying stuff and then funny story, there's a big Khalifa family in Lebanon, but they're Lebanese Khalifas. So she was a Khalifa. She's like, oh, today we have my cousin. But he's a Palestinian cousin. And like, bro, the hospitality there is insane. But they've always like, we talked about this a little bit because I said it's weird that people know me from like Canada here. Like, I've walked down the streets and people are asking me for pictures and stuff.
Wow.
And I'm like, I was a little shocked. I'm like, like now I guess we have Instagram and YouTube and all these things, but you know, bro, last year I wasn't really too much into the Arabic content. It was a lot of English content.
Yeah.
But it just made this year I kind of took a really right turn into Arabic content. And they said she mentioned on the talk that she like we're always like loving, you know, entrepreneurs and people that are famous from outside for them to come inside and inspire kids that are young. So maybe that's
the big
one of the
thing
things for sure.
is like the American dream.
Yeah,
You're right, and
the
you're
American
so
dream.
close to it.
Yeah.
And I have a friend. I don't know if I can say his name, but really quick story because this is all for inspiration purposes. You don't see me like talking. This is like probably the first time. It's been in the industry over 20 years. I've never talked. Someone messaged me from Miami and was like, "Hey, bro, you want to come down to my real estate convention?"
Cool.
And I'm like, okay. Like, it was around COVID time, and Miami was still free.
Yeah,
Florida
yeah.
was like, you know,
The country of Florida.
So I was like, okay, why you want to give me a free ticket? And he's like, I'll explain to you. You know what I mean? It was like $400, $500, $600 for a ticket. I don't know this person, and from what I see, he's very successful.
Yeah.
So he has some resemblance to myself and my brother. Like he has the bald head and the beard. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, bro, like, why'd you invite me here? He goes, I want to let you know that you and your brother inspired me to become this successful. When I was in Jordan, I would look at you guys and say, Mom, one day I'm going to be successful like them. And that was at my lowest point.
Yeah.
He reignited. See, it transfers, bro, when you inspire other people in what you're doing.
Of course.
There's going to be points where they remind you that you're the and you're like, bro, just give me one of your units then. If I inspired
I inspired you so much. How about this one?
You have about over 50 units. You know, can I? You know, I'm just kidding. But sorry, I didn't mean to talk too much. But
no, I like that, man. I love that.
So what you're doing is it's so critical. Like you're showing people that, you know, this is the dream that you have, bro. Even back home, your own people are not going to give you the opportunities you can get here. Let's be real.
I agree.
Let's appreciate where we are. You know.
Speaking of opportunities in back home, would you say there's more opportunity in Canada, but there's more hustle back home? Do you see that contrast?
Good question. I have an answer, but I want to hear your answer.
Because you've seen both sides.
Yes.
So what would be your opinion there?
Definitely, it's just very much like when you hear about like Jay-Z coming from. I mean, I don't know a lot of their backgrounds, but they come from very rough neighborhoods, right? Yeah. And so back home, it's about the resilience and level has to be like full time.
Yeah.
Where here people are a little more lazy,
Softer.
It's softer
for sure.
So that's why these guys are taking all of our jobs. It's just that they're actually applying.
Yeah,
they're working, man.
They're working.
They're showing up to work.
Showing up to work.
You know? But you know, that's my opinion. I'd love to know yours.
I mean, look, I'm very opinionated when it comes to North Americans. And it's not, by the way, it's not minority that lives here, because I know Arabs that were born here, they have the same mentality as the other people that I guess it's just when you're groomed into society where, you don't have a job, here's money. Back home, nothing like that exists. Oh, you don't have a job? Go figure one out. There's no, no government or not. Yeah.
No. But or you die.
Oh, you die.
Like,
Yeah.
You don't have food to eat.
In Lebanon, there's no a government to give you food while you don't have a job. That's not how. That's not how That's not even Lebanon. That's all of the Arab countries. Like there's nothing such as, you know. So, to you come here, you see so many opportunities, and like, why is you feel the opportunity is not even like a real thing, because why is nobody doing this? This is weird. So like when I was up and coming, I'm like, why is nobody taking this serious? Like there's some gold up in here, man. Nobody wants to get it. Yeah. So maybe the gold is fake. Like this is how my brain thinks. This is maybe fake then. That's why nobody's touching it. And the reality is they were just lazy.
It's a mindset. You're indoctrinated into it. It's like I'll use an example.
Because you were technically, not really born here, but raised here.
Raised here.
Yeah.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like we're held almost we're raised in captivity. We're fed.
Yeah.
We're in a big box.
Free
in a cage.
We
think the cage is really big, but it's still a cage. It's still right. But I feel like when you're raised in captivity and you're so privileged, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to hunt properly, you don't know how to.
You've never hunted. How would you?
You
You never had to hunt.
You've had to hunt within your cage,
Yeah.
but it's not the real.
That's not the real
wilderness, yeah.
world. No.
It's a big,
So-
a big difference.
You know what's crazy? So here's what you're, according to what you're saying. What I'm thinking is, what's harming people is the enabling and the entitlement. The enablement and the entitlement.
Yeah.
So now I'm feeling entitled. Once you've enabled me to know that if I don't work, I'm still gonna eat.
Yeah.
So now the entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have you worked with? We don't want to like say any names, but how many people are like, I deserve this because this is how it works, and it's like, no, that's not how it works.
I don't think I can mention names because it's a long list.
But that's it. That's entitlement, and then enablement. I always tell, bro, look, we can use it in all the way back to, and probably I'm gonna get hated on from people from the hood or whatever. But if unless they're really close with you and friends,
Yeah.
someone is locked up. Like you learn it from there,
Yeah.
and is calling you for money. You got to be very careful because once you enable them, it's you're
You open a door that you can't close.
Open a door you can't close. So if you have a family member and you really love them, like. And not everyone has the skill, but you have to literally like try to come up with a business plan and know that, look, this is not a loan because I know I'm not getting it back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when someone tells me I need money, I'm just like, don't give it back, bro. They're
Yeah.
like, why? I'll give it back. I'm like, no. Because I don't want our friendship
To end based on
to
money.
end based on it. And you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
So I'm like,
I
did
love.
he just really
I loved what
ask-
you just said.
Yeah.
He said, rather than me giving you money and you owing money, let's create a business so you can generate money. And bro, you know what? It's crazy because I think the same way. Like, I have some family back home that are same thing. You know, they see Rakan on social media. You know, and this is why my mom is my manager. You know, she's a police of the bank account, so nobody can go through the bank account, but has to go through my mom. So when somebody
Did
like
she tell you your password yet or no?
no, I don't have my passport. She has she has everything, man. But you know, she like because if somebody does ask for money, even if they're not directly, so like maybe family's a family, she would be the person that would kind of But it's I love what you just said. I think it's so true, and I understand not everybody has the ability to just take somebody and let's help you figure your life out through this. And do you believe anybody or everybody can be somebody that can own a business?
No, not here. For like, I don't want to generalize, but I feel in North America, it's almost like. So here's an example. You're in a trade. You're in a trade business, like physical trade, whether you do walls or ground or
Blue collar.
blue collar job.
Yeah.
The big corporations, they don't want to hire a subcontractor with 10 years experience. They want to hire someone and train them themselves from the beginning and pay that investment and have less skill than the guy who cuts corners. Most of society here has cut corners, bro. So they're not the hunger. It's not possible to feel the hunger we felt.
Yeah, I agree.
The homelessness, like you can just pick up write an email, GoFundMe, I don't know, say that you're a certain, you get supported.
Yeah.
Like there's just, it's great. No, please don't get me wrong. Like we're in a great, incredible country.
Absolutely.
For that. Yeah. But I personally, I don't want to say I don't believe in, but it's the ones. Some people are meant to be business people, and others need years and years of actually experiencing failure to. Because what is business? Like, I judge people's success over me is that they've failed more than I have. Like that's how I see it, and that's why I respect people who are more successful than me. Because it might not sound right, but that's what usually is it not? Like
Just having a bunch of failures.
Like if you really
can't
sit with
succeed
this
your way to
person, they'll be
success.
like, yeah, I lost like 2 mil in the last 5 years. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
You're like, that's a lot of pressure, bro.
Yeah.
You go, bro. You go clap for them.
Yeah, for
you know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Failing
cool.
forward. What's your definition of success?
That's a $1 million
Success
question.
after dark.
Success after dark.
Yeah.
Ah. We learn something new every day. I would have said not long ago balance.
I was gonna say because my second question was like, did your definition change after marriage? That was my second question, but I want to hear like, what you're gonna say because you know I know a lot of guys that have a definition of success before marriage,
Right.
and it just changes right after marriage.
Right.
Yeah. So we go through phases.
Yeah.
So that's why I think nobody can really. It's like asking someone what's the meaning of life.
Right.
So there's some people like, the really nice things was success for me. But when I achieve those nice things, which I think everyone deserves in the right time in their life, and they should have, like we'll buy the nice watch because we worked hard.
Yeah.
But it was the nice things, but I was very sad and depressed. So that was like in my 20s and teens. And then it's weird that when you're in a phase in life, what you need most is what you usually don't have, and it's you have those in the phases that you don't need them. So then success for me is balance, right? So now when I got married, success was balance, being able to, because I see my friends and people who don't have a chance to see their children grow.
Of course.
It hurts my heart because it's such a beautiful thing to experience, and you only know when you have a child.
Yeah, of course.
But now I'm going through another phase, which is maybe it's more or less balance and more contrast. Because the house, when there's kids, there's noise. So instead of balance, it's silence. Like, don't talk to me. So I'm starting to, and because the balance is becoming like, I don't know how to explain it. It becomes like mushy.
Yeah.
Everything becomes intertwined, family, business, this, that.
Like harmony.
Harmony.
Yes.
And harmony is not good for a hustler. He needs, I think, contrast.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
I've
heard that once
to know.
before. I
Yeah?
contrast, but it's
I've never
it's
heard of that. This is my first time hearing
Yeah.
it. That's pretty
So
cool.
like
That's dope,
investing a lot
Yeah.
of your savings, going really low with cash, like it needs that because you need to break out of that. Like
you gotta always be like,
yeah, because
just a hustler
as a
mentality.
when we're hustling, we were like, how many times have you been to the bank? Like you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. How about you?
3
You
years.
had
6
years.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah.
So I used to go to the bank, and I'm giving them this check, and they look 20,000. They're like, must be nice. Eh? I'm like,
You don't even know.
I don't know the next time I'm getting paid. That's one. You at least know you're making 5 G's a month. 2, you don't know I owe another 100 G's right now. You're
I'm taking
richer
this,
than me.
I'm taking this check to pay this guy to pay this guy. To pay this guy.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So it's like, so at some point, I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, I was like, I wish I had a steady job. You know what I mean? Like just like knowing how much I'm gonna make at the end of every month. But then that
Did you try that?
No,
I
can't see myself.
I have a story about that. So because I saw my dad as an entrepreneur and his life was so up and down, and I hated it, and I promised I would never be an entrepreneur. I'm gonna find the job and I'm gonna stick to it, and I'm gonna raise through the ranks, and I'm just gonna retire with one company because that's how so much I've resented entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I came to Canada and I told my dad I'm gonna work a good life forever. Like this is the company I want to work for. Funny story, my managers were Lebanese. And like this is it, I'm gonna make $100,000 when I'm a general manager. As soon as I become a VP of the company, I'm gonna make $200,000-$300,000 and I'm good. That's it. Like I'm done with life. And he looked at me, he was like, okay, we'll see. And he left me for 3 years, comes back. Oh, my son is an entrepreneur. Do you feel like it's in the genes sometimes? Or not in the genes, in how you're raised?
Yeah. That's a really good
Or
question.
maybe
So
in a situation when you're put in a specific situation, it pushes you to be an entrepreneur, is what I'm saying.
So the parents have such a significant impact on
Of course.
So so many times I've reacted in ways that my parents would, and I'm like, oh where did that come from?
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
you're like, you see yourself, and like, there's so many great things. Like we see our parents as like the top.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
As
Heroes.
much as we disagree
Yeah.
with them, they're like
Yeah.
heroes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when I was young, like I remember a certain point, I met someone younger than me, and at that time I was doing events, and they were getting really big, like club events.
Yeah.
And then I met this kid, and all of a sudden in front of me, he's like, I wanna book this big house DJ, and I'm like, how are you gonna do that? His parent was like owned a talent agency, so they dealt with talents and bookings. So even though I was in the entertainment business, the way he had guts, like, yeah, you know, let's just book these days, and then I'll send you a deposit in like a month, and then he would like want to go and promote the event. He learned that from the family.
Of course. Of course.
So-
of course.
I refuse, and I hate to believe this, but I hate to believe that depending on the level of success your parents have, chances are you're actually going to follow. But then when you really go high up, places that we normally can't reach, you really go
Yeah.
high up, you realize like their parents, this is why they're successful, is according to what their parents have achieved. You know what I mean?
I see.
And
That makes sense.
so there is an unfair balance really high up. We don't notice it here as much.
Yeah.
It's really high up. It's like a complete disadvantage, you know, where they're like given CEO position, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah.
We know some
But
people like that.
but as an
I know some people like that.
entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
you see failed businessmen too. From if sometimes their parent is a failing entrepreneur, and they inherited those habits of bad money management.
Yeah.
I assume you've inherited some good habits like from your dad's entrepreneurship.
My dad is my hero, man. My dad is definitely, but yeah, definitely a hard worker like my dad. He's always out, always working. He just never stays home. Never doesn't like to stay home. Just always like doing something.
It took me a while. Like when we came here, my dad went from entrepreneur to having to work at a convenience store, as most immigrant
Yeah, of
parents.
course, yeah.
Convenience
Yeah.
store or what was
Gas
it?
station.
Gas station.
Gas
My
station.
parents, my dad worked at a gas station.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Also, my dad came from Eastern Europe, and he came here and he had to work at a gas station.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like entrepreneur back home came
And
here
came
at
here.
the
He had to-
didn't know English, same thing.
And regardless of his education and
He was an
curriculum,
electrical engineer back home. Had to work at a gas station here.
Oh wow.
So my dad was an architectural engineer in Saudi
Oh, wow.
for the one of the royal families.
Yeah, that's big.
And he came here and they're in a convenience store saying, oh, making fun of him. I'm like, bro.
He's not
That's
even
not
Indian.
cool. Yeah, you
First
know?
of all, that's wrong.
And I'm like, no, man, this guy is intelligent, man. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like, but my dad's lack of wanting to take risk here because of the civil war in Lebanon.
Yeah.
So the lira, at one time it was
One to
it was
1
almost
to 10.
yeah,
1 to 10, I think.
something like that. Like back in the 80s,
Yeah,
it
1
wasn't
to 10.
like there
actually
wasn't,
probably a little bit lower.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then when the civil war happened,
It messed up
his
with it.
saved money turned into nothing.
Yeah.
It's like right now, the dollar, and it's just like you can have $1 million, it can turn into $10,000 if there's a war here. So, long story short, his lack of taking risk really was, I found, hindering my ability to take risk here.
Wow.
So I had to break out of the habit because I'd see that he'd want to save on certain things, so I inherited certain habits to try to save on certain things.
And you realize that
Interesting.
long term it wasn't working out.
Yeah, it's
Because-
tough to break out of those habits.
Yeah,
Is
man.
it?
Yeah, it's
Is
very
it?
tough. My
Is
dad's
it?
the same way.
Yeah?
You grow up and you start understanding that we have a save mentality back home, right? In
Yeah.
Lebanon, I don't think there's credit cards.
I don't
Right
know.
now, there's
Now there is, but back
no,
home,
there's none right now.
right? There's none.
It's-
So
yeah.
you need to make the money to spend the money.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. So you need to save the money to spend the
No,
money.
people have cards and stuff, but it's just they have a bank crisis.
But you understand what I'm
happening
saying,
right now.
though.
No,
It's
I
here,
understand, yeah.
There's a lot of credit. There's a lot.
Oh,
there's a lot
yeah,
of,
yeah,
the
yeah,
cash
yeah,
flow,
yeah.
the
Cash
economy
flow,
is
yeah, yeah.
very,
Moving,
very
moving,
different.
moving.
But people back home don't understand that here is a cash flow economy. People use credit to build wealth here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But people from like Eastern Europe, people from the Middle East, they come here, they don't understand that.
There's nothing that's the
and
same.
interest is haram, right? In a lot of places in the Middle East as well. So when they come here and they're using they have that save mentality, that scarcity mentality. They're saving, they're understanding. People that are using debt to get ahead of them, the government's printing all this cash that they're trying to save, but the government's printing cash faster than they're saving it. Sure. So they understand that the cash that they're saving is devaluing over time, every 4% on average every year. So my dad was so busy like grinding, he couldn't understand that. He kept saving money, couldn't get ahead. So us coming up, our generation coming here, we have to realize, okay, if my dad's not gonna figure it out, I gotta figure it out, and I'm gonna save him from it, because at some point you're past your prime, and like you were saying, they're scared to take risks because now they got a family, and now they got this. Their risk tolerance
There's a lot
is
on
a
the
lot
line.
lower. There's a lot on the line, right?
Yeah.
But before you got the big responsibility, you can take more of the risk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's
Like it's a big like.
Do you feel like because you were maybe around a lot of successful people, like Belly, of course, Massari, I guess who's the big names that you've I guess chilled with?
I mean, like
from that industry.
when initially when the weekend before he was the weekend, we'd hang out a few times.
Cool.
We knew, we kind of saw where he would go.
Yeah. He's talented.
And then look where
Very
he is
talented,
now.
yeah.
So I would
Crazy.
be like, I don't know if I should be saying this story, but I'd be like going to like clubs, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you need to let this guy in. You
Yeah,
don't understand who
yeah.
this guy's gonna become. And at the time, he wasn't according
Of course.
to
Yeah,
It's
to
not who he is
Toronto's
today.
dress
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
code.
yeah.
There was a dress code, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we gotta let this guy in. Like,
Have you seen Drake before Drake? Or you didn't get a chance to do that?
I didn't see Drake before Drake.
Okay.
Drake, he's just incredible, man. Like, so he was always somewhat of a star, even at such a young age.
younger age. Okay.
So whereas the weekend, he was one of like from the like where we were back home, sort of. And he was accessible because he was just like
He was
hanging
singing on the corner of the street, like for public.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was singing Young and Dundas Square.
Really?
He was singing on the corner. Yeah. Early days.
Yeah,
Wow.
Drake, they were like
Drake
sharing.
wasn't doing that. Drake was on Degrassi. Drake was on a TV show at that point in his career. So Drake had a little bit more fame.
I don't know.
But
at
Drake
that
did financially, like he had good resources and contacts, but financially he struggled a lot. And he not long ago he actually talked about how the whole manifesting thing actually played out for him in two ways: the house that he has now, and the Rolls Royce at the time when I remember those days where the boys want to believe in you, like I've done with people I've worked with, and everyone pitches in so that person can be in a Rolls Royce. And it was
For the music video, you mean?
Just
to
drive,
okay,
just
to
to
drive,
be in
just
it,
to
so
see,
the
just to
city sees you. Like for people like you and I don't know. It's just for me, I don't understand how that works because that's not how I see things.
I guess
but maybe they understand
industry.
the general public, how materialism can have such a major
course.
influence.
Yeah.
Like
Of course.
I feel like there's many types of people, but someone like myself, I'll buy things for myself as a form of accomplishment, and there's those who buy things for others. But in the entertainment business,
you must buy.
you must you have to go out and you have to be in the clubs and you have to have these bottles and you have to do this. That's your marketing.
Okay, that's your
budget.
campaign.
That's your marketing budget. that's your part of your business plan. Go out every weekend.
You notice there's a lot of Arabs up and coming artists. There's plenty of them right now. You notice that? Like I was thinking. This is 2 days ago. I was thinking. You know Sam Levant? Do you know him?
That's crazy. You just
So
mentioned him.
I know him before this Saint Levant.
Okay.
And he calls me. I think he calls me like a couple days ago, and I'm like, he did this thing with Mia Khalifa, and I'm like, bro. I'm like, dog.
crazy.
Like he's like, bro. I'm like, oh, yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not from that industry, so I don't want to be that guy. I'm like, hey, good luck, man. Just keep it up. I'll see you soon. But it's just I'm seeing. But then what I love about the upcoming Arabic talent is coming up. They're putting the Arabic culture into the music. You know, like Saint Levant is putting Arabic into the music, and even Belly, like even DJ Khaled. I know he makes these little like you know, like he's such a like a non-Arab, but you know, he's saying like there's a video of him. Where's the baklava? And like that's to an Arab, makluba, yeah.
The way he says
So
it.
and this is funny to us because first of all, that's not how you say it. That's number one. The second of
He was
all,
in Saudi earlier this year.
yeah, because he was getting paid good. Well, he was in Riyadh first. They have this new thing in Saudi right now where they're bringing these big artists.
Yeah.
So it's like I might as well. I'm Saudi. Let me just go to Mecca.
But you know what's crazy is he used to. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I don't want to misquote.
Yeah.
Whether Saudi was the first time he actually been on a plane. He did never. He was
DJ Khaled?
never flew overseas.
Oh,
never.
I didn't know that.
He never used to take ever flights. He's never flown all those years.
Interesting.
So, but you notice when he went to Saudi, he was in like a 747.
Yeah.
Did you see that? And he's laying in bed. In my mind, I'm like, that's his like way to what's the word?
I know what you're talking about. I know what
Like
you're saying.
adapt
to what's happening.
like
Yeah.
meditate. I don't know what the word is, but there's a word for it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was like, whoa, he's on a plane, and I'm like, damn, that's a big the
private
prince,
jet.
the
Yeah.
king
Yeah, he did
must
a
have
tour
sent
on
him
it.
his,
Yeah, of
own,
course,
his personal plane.
Of course. It's like, let's name some names. We have, well, I know I'm gonna miss some names.
Yeah.
But Massari, Belly, DJ Khaled, San Levant, who's Arab as well.
There's a lot. So there's that kid MCA Rap from Palestine. I don't know if you've
Oh
been
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
him.
I know who you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
I believe you know, they sort of work with the group that works with my brother.
Yeah.
So they sort of create a support
And
system.
then the I guess the whoever owns that group is an Arab guy as well.
yes,
Which
exactly.
is crazy, man. Just to let you know.
Ramadan.
No, Muhammad Ramadan.
So
is
Muhammad
big, yeah.
Ramadan,
It's pretty cool.
He's incredible.
Yeah. That was an
I wish
interesting
there's
marketing
something I
way.
want to say. It's a big announcement, but I don't want to say anything. But if you put pieces together, so there's something related
I
to
like
Muhammad
that.
Ramadan.
Yeah.
Nice.
But not long ago, my brother was in the studio with him. I think they were working on some things together.
I love
so
that.
That's what
They would
me
go.
happy.
Your brother has done like he's smart, bro. He knows
There's
how
Ileana.
to choose people. First of all, Ileana, Muhammad Asaf. This is remember the song Ana Palestine. You know,
Yeah.
all the Palestinians play.
Yeah.
Like he partnered up with that guy, bro.
Yeah.
Ileana is the first Arab to be on Coachella. Is that what it is?
Yeah, she was the first to
Arab
perform in Arabic in
to perform
Coachella. So
They're from in Arabic. In
yeah,
Coachella.
so he was very much like, remember I briefly talked about being behind the scenes
Yeah.
and passing on the baton.
Yeah.
You know, Issam Al Najjar, that's another
Oh,
artist. he works with.
Najjar, yeah.
You know, that became really big.
Yeah.
So my brother works with him as well.
How important would you say networking is in the industry, or in just
I think
in
it's-
general?
yeah,
Just
it's
to,
It
just
should
to-
be like everything.
Yeah,
Just
it's
to be
not
successful
what you know.
networking.
It's who it's not. You still have to have some level of intelligence,
Of course.
but it's
And
really
talent.
and
talent.
value to
Yeah.
bring.
Yeah.
to exchange,
But it's really it's the big one is who you know. You
Yes.
know, because the way it works, it's not about just who you know. It's who vouches for you. So if I like, I'll give you an example. If someone sees me hiring a certain cameraman,
Yeah.
bro, he's gone. Because they're like, Sami's been in the entertainment business 20
For
years.
this small, so he must see something
So
in this guy.
kid.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I call the kid. He's like, "Sorry, bro,
I'm
not-
booked up.
I get the next kid. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's not
like
that they're
that.
not loyal to me. And it's
Yeah,
not that I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
paying. It's just I'm paying them per project. But so with that being said, it's the vouching.
I see.
So it'll take me so long to vouch for someone and be like, yeah, you can trust this guy, because the higher
reputation is with him.
Exactly. So if you tell someone you can trust you can trust giving Sami $500,000.
Yeah.
If that goes missing, whose responsibility
They're
is it?
technically, yeah.
The
It'll
person
go
that's
back.
vouching.
It'll go back. The voucher.
That's
of course.
how the big guys, they have to, like, it's not even, it's like,
Interesting.
so then it's not what you know who you know, but it's who you know that actually
That-
is willing to
Right.
bring you in
Yeah.
and like give you a
Vouch
chance.
for you. Yeah.
But I'm very, very, even though I have been desperate before and in a difficult situation, I'll be real, man. I want to give people advice out there. Don't ever let people know that you're desperate, because I am very wary and careful about working with people who are desperate. Because what are they like? What are they? Where's the?
What are they willing to do?
Yeah.
What is it called when you take a loan against the house? Like, what is it? What's
a lien?
yeah?
is
Like,
it
what's
called
the
Collateral?
What's the collateral?
Yeah, what's the collateral?
When you're desperate and you're telling me that you're gonna do this and I'm gonna give you the money,
of course.
It's gonna go and you're not gonna follow through. And then relationships, when someone's desperate, is the last thing they think about. But when someone's not desperate and is in a abundance, relationship is everything. At this point, no matter how popular or successful or connected I am, I'll chase someone down if, like, I'm sorry, man, if I upset you. Forget pride and ego, man. Relationships are so important.
I love that.
Yeah, it goes for everything. You having a friend who's desperate for girls, you can't. You might not want to bring your girl around something.
Yeah.
No, but
My wife stayed home. No,
it makes sense, right? You know, you never know.
Yeah.
You have a friend that's desperate for money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are they gonna do?
And then sometimes, bro, like,
and not willing to work for it, right?
Yeah. The entitlement we talked about earlier. Sometimes they feel like, well, you're my boy, you should do this and this. But
how's the roller coaster ride in the entertainment industry? Because you were talking about you were 16 years old when you were living in Ottawa, and you know you're working with your brother, big album, big hits. That story in Lebanon, right? You guys go, I think we're talking about this before, from 6 months, you know, living in government housing, and then 6 months later driving exotic supercars.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's a switch, bro.
That's
like, too fast of a switch.
You're talking. Okay,
I mean, you're in Ottawa, so you're not in the right city for that. But it's still, like, you know, there was 3 supercars. There's some
money in Ottawa.
It's
just hidden money.
It's hidden money, exactly.
Hidden money. That's all.
It's disguised as government workers there, but there's something going on.
Yeah. So they say even though those are not the people who are really stunting.
Yeah.
But they say the most billionaires in Canada are in Ottawa.
Right.
From what I hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it?
I wonder
is it
why.
through the government or is it?
And believe it or not, most of them move to Ottawa to retire and bring their money there.
Yeah.
So I don't think they originate all from Ottawa, but they end up there.
Yeah.
And then they say there's something really interesting. It's at one point, I don't know if you know this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting with someone. So it's all about perspective.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to be talking about perspective, but this is a big deal when I consult people. So I was sitting with this guy in a time where, as an entrepreneur, I went through another failure.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, man, how are you getting these investments for these like you're a master franchisor of this, and how are people investing, buying into this franchise, one location, putting in like 200-300 G's each? Like, I'm trying to get like 20-30 grand. That was at the time. He goes to me, bro, did you know that most Canadians own their home fully?
Wow.
I'm like, what?
I don't even know that.
He's like, and then he showed me it was on the government website that it was, I don't know the exact number, but it was like 60% or more.
Recent?
This was 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay, I see.
Like right before COVID or around that time. So I went on the government website. It said more than 60% fully have paid their homes.
Wow.
So he's like, bro, like it's so easy for them to remortgage because their value of their home has increased dramatically in the last 20 years and 10 years. And he's like, and these people are looking. So it's perspective, bro. So this guy's living in abundance and then someone else is living, and they're both absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like they're both right because they're gravitating and pulling towards them what they think is the way out, but they're not actually seeing what the other person is seeing from his perspective. So studying, like really studying your business.
Speaking of perspective,
but you asked me. I'm so sorry.
The roller coaster.
What'd you ask?
The drastic change. I don't know how we changed.
How do you at 16? How do you adapt to that? Because you're saying it the first 16 years didn't have the let's say the material success.
Yeah, that's what I want. So
how does that
I
work?
remember when I was living in the neighborhood I was in, it was considered a temporary neighborhood. Everyone knows you don't stay in this neighborhood. Like, bro, it's very like it's violent. It's difficult. It's just the type of people there are not easy to get along with. And I remember everybody around us moving out except for us, bro. And I think I was like 12, and I would like I swear to I remember I'm like, God, why are we still here? It made me so sad as a kid knowing that I was poor. I'd never, God willing, I'd never want my child to ever experience what. And I know my parents, it wasn't in their hands, you know. Like they came from a place where it's war torn, so we were in a way better place. Long story short, within like a short period of time, I can't remember when, suddenly everyone who moved out, we surpassed them by like 20 lifetimes.
Yeah, of course.
That's why you got to be patient. God's timing is everything.
Yeah.
And it started, my brother was at a convenience store and he was just like singing for fun, and someone approached him, hey, you want to make music together? It's like, sure.
Wow.
Let's make music. And then that's when he met Sal in high school. And Sal had a little bit of money. He's an incredible businessman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, invest in my music and we'll become famous. And this is the amount you need. And then it just went from there. There's so much more interesting details. I just don't know what I can talk about.
Of course, yeah.
But it was, they got a firsthand experience and insight when they went to the US and they saw the music industry booming.
Yeah.
You gotta go. Familiarity is a very important thing. You wanna get there.
Yeah.
Go to where these people are, and just sit there and watch and feel. So realize that they're not far from reach what you want to achieve.
The law of exposure.
Yeah,
you've been around them.
So you want to go. I have a friend, bro. He actually goes to where he thinks one of these tech giants used to be, and he'll walk that same path. He'll travel there. He'll take a flight, get a hotel, just walk back, and just familiarity, bro.
Wow.
I won't charge you for this session.
I'm just kidding. He even sang a little bit at the beginning too. Video might get taken down, copyrighted.
I was saying what?
You're singing.
You were singing at the beginning.
Yeah. Copyright.
Copyright.
Man, this was a fun convo.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna ask one more question.
Ask one more question. Let's go.
You guys are both of religious. I would say religious people. Or
hopefully,
yes. Would you say that religion played a part in your success?
Ooh.
Wow, that's a
in
deep
your life
question, man. That's a deep.
very easy answer.
You tell me.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Very.
You don't
easy
think you could
answer.
be the same
No.
as successful as you are today without your faith?
No. Look, I you know what's funny? I got closer to my faith when I came to Canada. Back home, it was more enforced on us.
It wasn't optional.
It wasn't.
Optional.
Yeah, you
Yes.
have to
Yes,
go
yes,
pray,
yes, yes, yes.
or else you'd fight both, either the parent or the government. Like you can't
Right.
you can't escape the home to not pray because you find somebody in the street that would force you, in a sense. You know, here there's nobody forcing you to do nothing. So. You know, it may took me some time, but I got closer to I loved my faith. I wanted to learn more about my faith. I wanted to learn more about the stories and this and that and you know, I want back home. There was no young guys that are speaking about, you know, today's religion. Like I'm talking 2023. What are the things that we're talking about? This is why I go to a very specific mosque here in Mississauga, because I want to listen to a specific guy. Young guy, he's my age. He's talking about what's happening right now, right? Back home, bro, they have a script. It's one of these scripts.
Oh, it has to get
And
approved.
Alhamdulillah, like it's the same words every single week, bro. It's like, why am I here? Like we're supposed to come here, but I guess, you know, of course, I can't generalize because of course there's people back home, but I guess I wasn't exposed to that. In Canada, I was, right? I felt like I was a part of the community. I felt like I was a part of the circle, and that allowed me, right, to be stronger in my down times, because I know with my faith that no matter what's happening, I hopefully can have a good end destination. No matter what's happening in my current life, it's okay, because my end destination, you know, if I do good things, I'm gonna go to a good place. I'm gonna end up in a good place. I speak to myself on paper while I'm writing, but it's just the prayer is what keeps me sane. Is what keeps me, like, this is 5-10 minutes that I'm praying. I'm detached. No matter the house can be burning, I'm praying. Like this is, I had 5 to 10 minutes. I gotta do this. Yeah, that it's so. I guess it's just the detachment allowed me to grow as a person and allowed me to not do bad things, and it held me down from bad investments, and because I've had a lot of opportunities that were in haram stuff, like I'll just give you a simple example. The restaurant that you're well aware of used to have alcohol. So one of the things that me and my partner agreed on is like, hey, let's just take away this part. Alcohol part cannot be a part of this because, first of all, cultural wise, it won't be as good for us, both Muslim kids. Second of all, it disobeys what God has told us to do, right? So let's do it then. We did take a small, not hit, but some people did have some opinions about us taking away the alcohol. But then it just took the other direction. We became more a family place. We became a family restaurant. Per table right now, it's more expensive than they used to be because people are not coming by themselves. They're coming with families.
Yeah.
Right? So by default, they're spending more money. There's Arab families, 10,000 kids with them, So it works in your favor when you trust that.
The problems that come from businesses, like imagine some people's 70% of their revenue is from alcohol. So to cut that out.
You remember what I told you this? We looked at their papers and that was like similar numbers.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And imagine cutting that out. Like,
Yeah.
that's called, I call it, it could be
suicide. Business suicide.
Career suicide.
But it's like, in Islamic ways, it's tawakkul. Like you're just like, you know what? This is what you've asked of me. Here you go. And the art of letting go is big. It's big. It's so big, and it's just like the fact that he did it. He was just. It's like he's bound. It's the holding on. And not being sure, and then letting go and hold. That's the failure. That's one of the failures of like a lot of entrepreneurship. The second guessing. That's it. This is out.
Yeah, the belief.
The type of audience. I can go there.
Yeah.
Like I remember you actually. We were during the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
I was there. I went with my wife.
Oh, wow.
The first thing we asked is there alcohol being served?
Yeah.
And we spend money, and we are we have a lifestyle. We buy nice clothes. So just because we don't drink, it doesn't mean we don't like to spend money.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of people you attract, and even if you raise the price more, people will still
come. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
look
a
at
big one.
Saudis. They don't drink. They spent $200 million on Ronaldo last year.
That's true.
Oh, did you hear? They went to sign Tiger Woods?
Really?
They wanted to sign Tiger Woods for $800 million.
Wait, we have golf in Saudi?
They're coming out with a golf league.
What?
And then listen to this. Tiger Woods refused it because he wants to stay with the current. Does anyone know the current?
I'm not a.
There's a golf league.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called. He wants to stay with them, stay loyal to them.
Interesting.
The Saudis came and
bought the league,
and said, "All right, buddy, you just."
I'm
bro,
so done with
like,
Saudis, bro.
They don't take no for an answer.
So done with Saudis, bro.
They either partnered or bought into the league, and the people are like, so what was that? He's like, I want to be loyal to these guys. These guys are like, yeah, you know what? See you later, bud.
Yeah, that's so funny.
DJ Khaled's gonna be going back there more often, huh?
Right?
I mean, we gotta get out there, man. Saudi's like what Dubai was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's insane. I talked to my dad this about last week. I'm like, would you go back, bro? In a heartbeat, yes.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even, when somebody doesn't flinch with an answer, like he was so sure about the yes. I'm like, do you want that was too quick.
I mean, you know what? It's the first year ever. I know this podcast can go on until the sunrise. What is it called? After
Success after dark.
Success after dark. Success.
We get success in the morning.
Success. But this year more than ever, when I talk to people, more than ever, they're willing to go to their war-torn country to get back some of the feeling of feeling at home because there's been so much change. I'm not gonna have any opinions about that, it's personal opinions, but
of course.
More than ever, bro, there's people that sold their homes, they've left, they went to Turkey, they went to wherever.
Plenty.
A guy told me, he's like, bro, I'm in Lebanon. I'm like, bro, like I don't want to compare any other countries because it'll sound racist, but
Yeah.
some of the most broken down countries in the world are still doing better than Lebanon. Okay, what are you doing out there? Yeah, I just missed the. I'm like, damn, you must have had enough.
Yeah.
You must have really sucked. It must have been really bad for you, brother. But I mean, because if you make a couple $1,000s a month, let's say you work remote and you make a couple $1,000s a month online, Lebanon wouldn't be a bad
there's
idea.
Some areas that are nice.
There's beautiful areas.
Speaking of change, you've been around some people, you know, you've seen monetary success. You've seen around people getting quick success. Would you say that money changes people
Ooh.
and success changes people? And if it does, how?
So, I mean, I don't want to sound. So I don't know if anyone said this before, but this is how I truly feel: is money just emphasizes on who you really are.
Amplifies.
It
yeah?
amplifies
Yes.
who you really
Yeah,
are.
I like that.
It doesn't change you. It just helps you come out of that shell faster.
Yeah.
And like, and then people go through challenges in life to refine them. Because a lot of people reach that success right away. Like when we were like in the hood, and then the money didn't come right away. The lifestyle came before it, because accessories come before the money. Like Eminem had a #1 hit and he was still broke in Detroit, but the accessories of being with Dr. Dre,
with big dogs,
the nice car, this, that, nice clothes. So that came.
Yeah.
So then you don't know what it takes to earn these things.
Do you guys think you were
because they're given?
Do you guys think you were prepared for that initial?
Man, I was
the accessories.
So for me, I felt like at some point, I just want to be real. Like I was a little depressed, man. Not little. Like I was like
Really, even when you got the material.
Yeah,
once you got the material,
you want the material. You want the, and then when you get it, you're like, damn, like is this really it?
That's it.
And you only know what I'm talking about when you get
once
there.
you get it,
Because the responsibilities and the heat, the level of pressure everywhere you go, and bro, there's times I can't even sleep at night. I'm like, oh, do they think I have money in my house? Like, it's like, bro,
I understand.
The moment you don't feel safe, this is what people don't realize, that you can go to any country in the world, you can have whatever. But the safety you feel in your home here, that's a necessity. Food, water, safety, shelter, whatever. I don't know the freaking term. But there were points where I'm like we were overseas and we're collecting a payment. Bro, you're in a foreign country collecting a massive payment that can feed a city. So you watch those movies where these guys hear about there's a big diamond. Bro, we're in Tunisia, bro. They know we're there. We're the diamond in that hotel. They were like, yo, we got to hire a lot of protection. So it comes with a lot of pressure.
Of course.
People use you. People just want to ask for money. Like they take you through a whole run, and then you catch it after like 3 months. You're like,
damn.
Bro, did I get taken on that ride this whole time? Like, so there's a lot of so that's the thing is knowing like God, like having God in parallel. You're good, man.
Yeah,
I love that.
And so here's the issue: is that this is very important. Some people refuse to succeed because they think God is not proud of them for the choices they're making.
Yeah.
And then because of what they think God feels, because, bro, some people are really hard on themselves, bro. Like, we're humans.
Yeah.
Like, if everyone told me you the sins they've committed, you'd be an angel.
Absolutely.
In most cases, you
Absolutely.
know? So it's like people are so hard on. I feel bad, man. Sometimes people message me like, I think God hates me. Like, that's why, like, they don't have a relationship. They don't have a car. They don't have this. They're doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
And then the other person who knows and understands that God forgives. I heard it's even a sin to not believe in God's mercy.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for a long time, I thought, because I wasn't living as a Muslim with these, like, you know, and it doesn't matter what religion, just like that moral compass you have.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God's not proud. So I was depressed. But then when I brought him along, like, when, you know, with those if you pray and you try to be consistent with that, like, bro, I'm telling you right now, go start taking these courses, go dish your money out. You realize that a lot of the things they teach you is actually in the Quran. I'm telling you, I've paid tens of thousands of dollars for these breathing yoga. I'm like, isn't that like prayer? Like bro, you start realizing. So in this time, I might do a course like this. I'm mocking myself, but really, it's like you get hydrated and then revisit your intention and then stretch. But what are you doing when you pray? You're hydrating. You're putting your epidermis is the largest organ in your body. So it's taking water. Yeah. You're revisiting your intentions and you're stretching. So you don't need the.
I never thought of it this way.
Yeah.
And there's more to it. Buy my course. No, I'm just
link in the description.
Link in bio.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody watching this wants a young kid growing up. Let's say they're in Ottawa. Let's say anywhere in the world. They want to get into the entertainment industry. What piece of advice that you can give, watching successful people go through, start from get through a career, that's lasted decades and sustained it. What tip would you give young people coming up and wanting to get into that world? A number one tip, because it could be work ethic, talent, a lot of factors, but what do you think above all?
So the difference, because I've come across a lot of some really big talent throughout my life, and we're not gonna get into this, but I was in Bahrain when Michael Jackson was in Bahrain. We were living there.
Oh wow!
So Bin Khalifa, the royal family. Yeah. So there's a lot of stories behind that too. So that being said, I've seen and been around, and nothing is more important than beating on your craft. Nothing. Don't get distracted by don't go broke trying to look rich. Don't go broke trying to impress people. Don't go broke. Don't do not. The perfect prime example of talent, I don't know about their personal decisions, even though I can see some of the things they're talking about, because it takes a certain level of letting go emotionally. But Kanye West was literally like a backpacker. He let his talent speak for himself. Don't let any bro, I'm telling you right now, one day we're gonna do another podcast, and I'm gonna let people how this entertainment business is manipulating people. Don't listen to these idiots saying, yeah, bro, I don't have a manager. Yeah, you don't have a manager. Somehow you're going to 300 shows in a year around the world. You're on all these radio stations. You're on all these television. Oh, you did that yourself. Yeah, sure. That's a diversion, because they don't want the talent to really know that management is required. Of course. And structure is required.
Of course.
It's impossible. You have to focus on your craft. That's a distraction. So all I can say is whatever you're good at, don't try to be good at everything. There's nothing that drives me more nuts than when I see an email signature. A barber, dancer, creative director,
all of the above,
carpenter, lawnmower. I'm like, bro, what are you like? I don't want to categorize people, but you hire those people and you're like from Home Depot. You're
please do something.
Yeah, it's like singer, rapper, dancer, executive producer, video director. That doesn't look good, bro. Stick. What are you? One thing. What are you? And just kill it, because someone needs that. You know what I mean? So that's the best advice I can give.
I love that, man.
Some people always ask you the first question, what do you do? That's like a first question.
Yeah, but that's why I don't mention a lot of things that I do.
Yeah, but it's not about what you're saying. It's about how important what you do is to society, because it's one of the first questions anybody asks you as your identity. It is what it is. It might be people can call it superficial, but that's just how important what you do is. You know what I mean? So if you do something really well, and like you said, you beat on your craft, man, you can change the world. Up.
I'm a salsa dancing champion from the 70s.
Okay. Well, Sami, brother, man, thank you for today's
pleasure,
talk.
Man. I'm so
this
happy
was
to be
cool,
here.
Man.
Yeah,
did we go? How long did we go for?
My pleasure, man. Much
what?
love to you. He left me hanging earlier.
Oh, that's it? Oh, I don't know that. Well, we over now. We've never really have an episode over an hour. So this was like our longest episode. I enjoyed this talk, man. Thank you
it's
very
been
much.
great, man. I'm so happy to be here.
And we definitely need a part 2 for this one.
Yeah,
We definitely need
sure.
a part. This is season 2.
Yeah,
Part 2 will be at season 3 for sure.
absolutely.
We'll have a bigger studio at that point. So my friends, make sure you like, subscribe, give we'll put Sammy's link, Instagram in the bio, and we will see you guys soon. Y'all take care. Peace.
Peace out.